What makes growing up so terrifying? Is it the responsibilities that come with adulthood? The unknown future, or the idea that we have to leave behind the carefree nature of childhood? For many, the process of growing up brings with it a myriad of emotions: fear, uncertainty, and even a sense of loss. We often hear people talking about the good old days, or wish that they could stay young forever. But why is that? Why do so many of us feel apprehensive about moving forward in life? In anime, the theme of coming of age is explored in a deeply personal and nuanced way. Characters grapple with these fears of growing up as they face the challenges that come with transitioning from adolescence to adulthood. The uncertainty of the future, the weight of responsibility, and the overwhelming question of who am I supposed to be are all central to their journeys. Anime offers a unique lens through which we can explore these universal fears, often portraying them with a mixture of emotion, fantasy, and reality. Through characters who are struggling to find their place in the world, we get to witness these anxieties unfold, sometimes exaggerated through supernatural or time travel elements, but always rooted in relatable human emotions. In this video, we'll explore 3 anime that dive into this fear of growing up. From the idea of losing those we cared about as children in Anohana, the flower we saw that day, to wishing that we could stay children forever in The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and finally the exploration of finding out who we're meant to be in Mob Psycho 100. These series don't just show us what it's like to be afraid of the future, they teach us that growing up is more than just aging. It's about learning to face change, embracing who we are, and understanding that even though the future is uncertain, it's filled with opportunities for personal growth. So let's take a closer look at how these animes tackle the complexity of growing up and the emotional hurdles that come with it. Anohana is an emotional rollercoaster that dives deep into the themes of grief, guilt, and the fear of growing up. If you want to have a good cry, then I highly suggest watching. The anime tells the story of a group of childhood friends who become estranged after the tragic death of one of their own, Menma. Years later, Menma's ghost appears before Jinta, the protagonist, asking him to help fulfill her last wish so that she can move on. The story isn't about helping Menma find peace, it's about the friends finding peace within themselves and coming to terms with the past that has haunted them for years. At its core, Anohana is a story about the fear of letting go, not only of the past but also of the innocence and simplicity of childhood. Each character in the story represents a different aspect of how we cope with growing up and how unresolved emotions can hold us back from moving forward. Let's explore how Anohana portrays this fear of growing up and what it teaches us about our own lives. For many of us, childhood is a time of innocence and simplicity. It's a period when we don't have to worry about the complexities of adult life, and our biggest concerns are often trivial compared to the weight of responsibility that comes with growing up. But as we grow older, we start to accumulate emotional baggage, grief, guilt, regrets, that can weigh us down. In Anohana, the characters are stuck in the past, unable to fully move forward because of the unresolved grief and guilt they carry over Menma's death. Jinta, the main character, is a prime example of someone who is emotionally frozen in time. After Menma's death, he becomes a recluse, cutting himself off from friends and society. He refuses to engage with the world, preferring to live in the isolation of his home. This reflects a fear that many of us experience, the fear of facing the pain of the past, and by extension, the fear of facing the future. For Jinta, growing up would mean confronting the guilt he feels over Menma's death, and that's something that he's been avoiding for years. The fear of letting go isn't unique to Jinta. Each of the characters in Anohana deals with Menma's death in their own way, but none of them have truly moved on. Anaru clings to the identity she had as a child, struggling with self-worth issues and trying to conform to societal expectations. Poppo, who seems carefree and adventurous, hides a deep sense of guilt behind his upbeat persona. Even Yukiatsu and Suruko, who appear to have matured, are still haunted by their feelings for Menma and their inability to resolve their emotions from the past. One of the most poignant aspects of Anohana is how it portrays guilt as a barrier to growth. The characters are burdened by the belief that they each played a role in Menma's death, even though none of them is directly responsible. The guilt manifests in different ways. Jinta isolates himself, Anaru feels like she isn't good enough, Yukiatsu pretends to have moved on while secretly being obsessed with Menma's memory, and Poppo becomes a wanderer, running away from the weight of his own guilt. This emotional paralysis caused by guilt is something many of us can relate to. We often hold on to mistakes from the past, believing that we can't move forward until we fix things, or that we don't deserve to be happy because of something we did or didn't do. But as Anohana shows us, holding on to guilt doesn't help anyone, it just keeps us stuck. The character's inability to forgive themselves is what prevents them from growing up, both emotionally and psychologically. In real life, we also experience this fear of growth when we're weighed down by our own guilt. Whether it's over something big or small, guilt can be crippling, making us afraid to take risks or embrace change. We may find ourselves stuck in the past, unable to move forward because we're too busy replaying old mistakes in our minds. Anohana teaches us that letting go of guilt is a crucial step in growing up. It's only when we forgive ourselves and others that we can truly begin to heal and move on. Another key theme in Anohana is the importance of friendship in the process of growing up. The group of friends in the anime may have drifted apart, but their shared history and unresolved emotions tie them together. As the story progresses, it becomes clear that they need each other to heal. It's through their reconnection and mutual support that they are able to face their fears and begin the process of letting go. In many ways, this mirrors the real life experience of growing up. Friendships play a critical role in our development, especially during adolescence when we're figuring out who we are and what we want in life. But growing up also means that friendships change, and sometimes we lose touch with people who were once important to us. Anohana reminds us that while friendships may evolve, they are still valuable sources of support and understanding, especially when we're facing difficult emotions like grief and guilt. The friends in Anohana each carry their own burdens, but it's only when they come together that they're able to begin healing. This is an important lesson for real life. No matter how strong we think we are, we often need the support of others to help us move forward. Growing up can feel isolating at times, but it's our relationships with others that help us navigate the difficult emotions that come with it. By the end of Anohana, the characters are finally able to let go of Menma, not because they want to forget her, but because they've learned how to accept her death and the role it played in their lives. This acceptance allows them to grow, not as individuals but as friends. They're able to reconnect with each other and with the world around them, moving forward without being weighed down by the past. This idea of acceptance is crucial to the process of growing up. In real life, we often face real situations we can't change, loss, mistakes, missed opportunities, but it's how we choose to deal with these situations that define our growth. Anohana shows us that growing up isn't about forgetting the past, it's about accepting it, learning from it, and finding the strength to move forward. The fear of growing up in Anohana is deeply relatable. Many of us have experienced the fear of letting go, whether it's letting go of childhood, friendships, or even past versions of ourselves. We often cling to the familiar, even when it's painful, because the unknown future feels scarier than the past we know. But like the characters in Anohana, we can't stay in the past forever. At some point, we have to confront our fears, face our unresolved emotions, and find the courage to move forward. Anohana teaches us that growing up is about more than just getting older. It's about emotional growth, self-acceptance, and finding peace with the past. It's a painful process at times, but it's also necessary for us to become the people we're meant to be. By facing our fears of growing up, we can learn to embrace the future, with all its uncertainties and possibilities. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, directed by Mamoru Hosoda, beautifully captures the essence of adolescence and the fear of growing up. The narrative centers around Makoto Kono, a high school girl who inadvertently acquires the ability to leap through time. Initially, this power feels like a thrilling escape, enabling her to redo embarrassing moments, sidestep mistakes, and extend joyous experiences. Yet, as the story unfolds, it becomes apparent that her time leaping serves as a metaphor for her desire to evade the responsibilities of adulthood and the relentless march of time. When Makoto first stumbles upon her time-leaping ability, she employs it to avoid minor inconveniences, retesting, sidestepping awkward situations, and reliving carefree days with her friends. It's a whimsical fantasy. Who wouldn't relish the opportunity to rewind time and correct their missteps or extend moments of happiness? However, as the plot progresses, we begin to see that a deeper anxiety about embracing adulthood underpins Makoto's playful manipulation of time. This aversion to responsibility is something that many of us can relate to during our teenage years. The transition from the carefree days of childhood to responsibilities of adulthood can feel daunting. Like Makoto, we often find ourselves clinging to the comforts of youth while grappling with the pressures of making choices that carry significant consequences. In her desire to maintain her carefree existence, Makoto exemplifies the common temptation to avoid hard decisions. The thrill of having the power to rewind time offers her a temporary reprieve from the weight of responsibility. However, the film quietly critiques this avoidance, highlighting that running away from adult challenges only delays personal growth. As Makoto continues to use her time-leaping ability, she believes that she's in control of her life, effortlessly sidestepping obstacles and crafting her narrative. This illusion of control feels liberating. She can manipulate events at will and evade the uncertainties of the future. Yet, as the story progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that no matter how many times she rewinds time, she cannot control everything. Each leap into the past comes with unforeseen consequences that ripple through her life and the lives of those around her. This theme of control resonates deeply with the adolescent experience. In our pursuit of a perfect life plan, we often crave the ability to orchestrate every aspect of our future. Yet the Girl Who Leapt Through Time gently reminds us that life is inherently unpredictable. No matter how much we plan or how many time-leaping abilities we wish we had, we cannot control every outcome. Makoto's journey reflects the struggles many of us face in our teenage years, as we grapple with the notion that life doesn't always go according to plan. This lesson serves as a crucial reminder that part of growing up is learning to navigate uncertainty with grace, accepting that setbacks and unexpected twists are an integral part of the journey. As Makoto uses her time-leaping power powers more recklessly, the consequences of her actions begin to manifest. While she initially leaps back to escape minor problems, she soon realizes that her avoidance tactics are causing harm to her friends, particularly Chiaki and Kosuke. In her quest to manipulate events for her advantage, she inadvertently puts Kosuke in danger, culminating in a near-fatal accident. This realization marks a pivotal moment in her character development. Initially, she's oblivious to the ripple effects of her choices. As teenagers, we can often become so engrossed in our personal struggles that we neglect to consider how our actions impact those around us. Makoto's journey highlights this aspect of adolescence where self-absorption can cloud our judgment. Growing up entails acknowledging that our actions can have far-reaching effects, and this film captures that sentiment perfectly. As she faces the fallout from her misuse of her powers, Makoto learns that running away from responsibility can lead to dire consequences, affecting not only her life but also the lives of her loved ones. This theme teaches us that embracing adulthood means recognizing our role in the interconnected web of relationships we maintain. By the climax of the film, Makoto comes to a profound realization. She cannot continue to avoid the future. Her escapism through time leaping has consequences that she must confront. In an emotionally charged scene, she discovers that Chiaki is also a time traveler who must return to his own time, leaving her behind. This moment serves as a poignant metaphor for the inevitability of growing up. She must learn to let go of the past and accept the uncertainty of the future. This pivotal moment underscores a universal truth. We cannot remain tethered to our childhood. As we age, we must learn to accept that time moves forward, regardless of our desire to linger in the comfort of youth. The film encourages us to embrace the unknown, trusting that while the future may be daunting, it's also brimming with the opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Makoto's journey resonates deeply with the struggles we face as we transition from adolescence to adulthood. The desire to escape responsibility, the illusion of control, and the fear of making mistakes are all relatable experiences. But The Girl Who Leapt Through Time teaches us that growth isn't about dodging challenges, it's about confronting them, learning from our own experiences and moving forward. In our own lives, we often find ourselves wishing for the ability to rewind time, to correct mistakes, relive happy moments, or avoid difficult choices. However, the film poignantly reminds us that the beauty of life lies within its unpredictability. We learn and evolve through our struggles, and each decision shapes us into who we are. Ultimately, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time teaches us that while we may long for the simplicity of childhood, embracing adulthood is essential. It's about accepting the inevitability of change, the weight of our choices, and the bittersweet beauty of moving forward. In letting go of the past and facing the future, we can find strength in our journey, just as Makoto does. In conclusion, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time serves as a profound exploration of the fear of growing up and the complexities of adolescence. Through Makoto's experiences, the film illustrates that while growing up can be terrifying, it's also a necessary journey filled with opportunities for growth, understanding, and acceptance. By embracing our fears and facing the uncertainties of adulthood, we can learn to navigate life with resilience and grace, ultimately finding beauty in the inevitable progression of time. Mob Psycho 100 Created by One is a compelling narrative that blends supernatural elements with the deep psychological themes of anxiety and inferiority. The series follows Shigeo Mob Kageyama, a seemingly ordinary middle schooler with extraordinary psychic abilities. However, rather than solely focusing on the flashy spectacles of his powers, Mob Psycho 100 dives into Mob's internal struggles, exploring themes of identity, emotional growth, and the fear of confronting one's true self. Through Mob's journey, the anime powerfully illustrates how facing our inner turmoil is a crucial part of growing up. From the outset, Mob grapples with expectations from himself, his family, and society. Despite possessing immense psychic powers, he's painfully aware of how different he is from his peers. This discrepancy leads him to suppress his abilities, fearing that embracing them might alienate him further from the people he wants to connect with. Mob's struggle reflects a common experience during adolescence, the pressure to conform and the fear of standing out. Many of us can relate to this feeling. Whether it's about academics, sports, or social interactions, there's often an unspoken expectation to excel, to fit in, or to be normal. Mob's reluctance to embrace his powers mirrors the internal conflict many young people face as they try to navigate their identities in a world that often demands conformity. He worries that showcasing his abilities will cause others to view him as a freak rather than a friend. This fear highlights a critical aspect of growing up, understanding and accepting ourselves in the face of societal expectations. Mob's character arc is a profound exploration of self-discovery. Throughout the series, he embarks on a journey to understand not just his powers but himself. This is particularly evident in his interaction with others characters, especially his mentor Reigen Arataka. Reigen, while not being a psychic, plays a pivotal role in guiding Mob. His belief in Mob's potential and his ability to provide guidance without the burden of expectations allow Mob to slowly peel back the layers of his own identity. This mentorship dynamic showcases the importance of surrounding ourselves with positive influences during our formative years. Having someone who believes in us can inspire confidence and encourage self-exploration. In real life, we often find that supportive relationships, be they with friends, family, or mentors, plays a significant role in helping us navigate the complexities of growing up. As Mob encounters various challenges, including formidable foes and emotional conflicts, he learns to confront his feelings rather than suppress them. The series illustrates that growth doesn't come from avoiding our emotions, it stems from engaging with them. Mob's journey highlights that embracing our feelings, whether they be anger, sadness, or joy, is a vital aspect of understanding who we are. One of the most compelling aspects of Mob Psycho 100 is the portrayal of Mob's psychic powers as a metaphor for his emotional state. When Mob experiences intense emotions, his power manifests in explosive ways, often leading to destructive consequences. This aspect of his character serves as a tangible representation of the fear that many young people have regarding their emotions, the anxiety they may lose control, become overwhelmed, or act in a way that they hurt themselves or others. Throughout the series, Mob's struggle to control his powers mirrors the challenges many face during adolescence. The emotional upheaval that often accompanies this period can feel chaotic and out of control. For Mob, the more he attempts to suppress his feelings, the more volatile his powers become. This is a powerful reminder that pushing our emotions down doesn't resolve them. It often leads to a bigger issue down the line. By facing his emotions rather than avoiding them, Mob learns to harness his abilities responsibly. He realizes that acknowledging his feelings doesn't make him weak, rather it empowers him to grow. This lesson resonates with anyone who's felt the weight of their emotions and the fear of what might happen if they let them surface. Mob Psycho 100 teaches us that embracing our feelings is not only a part of growing up, but also essential for our personal development. Throughout Mob Psycho 100, the importance of relationships become increasingly clear. Mob's friendships, particularly with the Body Improvement Club, his brother Ritsu, his love interest Tsubomi, and his mentor Reigen, provide him with a support system that encourages his growth. These relationships are vital in helping Mob navigate his fears and insecurities. As he learns to connect with others, he begins to understand that his worth isn't tied solely to his abilities. The bonds Mob forms challenges his initial belief that he must conceal his powers to fit in. Instead, he discovers that genuine friendships thrive on authenticity and vulnerability. In real life, the connections we forge often serve as a mirror, reflecting our strengths and weaknesses. They encourage us to confront our fears, pushing us towards personal growth. Mob's journey exemplifies the idea that growth occurs not only in isolation but through interaction with others. As we navigate the complexities of growing up, the relationships we cultivate can provide invaluable support, helping us understand ourselves better and face our fears. As the series progresses, Mob's character evolves significantly. He learns to accept not only his powers but also his identity as a person. This journey culminates in moments of self-acceptance where he understands that he is more than just a powerful psychic. He is a multifaceted individual with emotions, aspirations, and insecurities. In the finale, Mob's emotional growth is beautifully encapsulated in a scene where he chooses to confront his feelings head-on rather than suppress them. This moment signifies a turning point in his journey, showcasing that embracing our vulnerabilities is essential for genuine growth. The fear of growing up begins to fade as Mob learns that he doesn't have to face these challenges alone. This message resonates deeply with audiences as it mirrors the journey many of us undertake when navigating the tumultuous waters of adolescence. Accepting our true selves, including our flaws and fears, is a significant part of growing up. It encourages us to view our struggles not as weaknesses but as opportunities for growth. In conclusion, Mob Psycho 100 serves as a powerful exploration of the complexities of adolescence, highlighting the fears, struggles, and triumphs that come with growing up. Through Mob's journey, the series illustrates that confronting our inner turmoil is essential for personal growth. By embracing our emotions, seeking supportive relationships, and accepting our true selves, we can navigate the challenges of growing up with resilience and grace. Ultimately, Mob Psycho 100 teaches us that while the journey of growing up can be daunting, it's also filled with opportunities for self-discovery and connection. By facing our fears and embracing who we are, we can find strength in our vulnerabilities, shaping us into more compassionate and understanding individuals. As we reflect on Mob's journey, we're reminded that the path to adulthood is not about perfection, but about learning, growing, and connecting with ourselves and others along the way. In this video, we've explored how coming-of-age anime like Anohana, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and Mob Psycho 100 delve deep into the emotional complexities and fears tied to growing up. Each of these stories presents its own take on what it means to confront the challenges of leaving behind childhood, facing the unknown, and embracing the often daunting process of personal growth. Anohana shows us that growing up isn't just about moving forward, it's about addressing the emotional baggage we carry from the past. The series beautifully portrays how unresolved grief, guilt, and memories can hold us back, and how only by confronting and accepting these emotions can we truly move on. It's a poignant reminder that healing is a vital part of growing up, and that sometimes the hardest part is letting go of what no longer serves us. The girl who leapt through time tackles the universal desire to pause time and escape from the responsibilities that come from growing up. Makoto's journey shows us how trying to avoid the difficult parts of life, like making decisions or dealing with consequences, can lead to even more complications. Her story reminds us life is full of moments we wish we could freeze or change, but true growth comes from accepting these moments and the changes they bring, no matter how scary they seem. Then we have Mob Psycho 100, where Mob's struggle to understand and control his emotion mirrors the inner turmoil many of us feel as we try to figure out who we are. The anime teaches us that growth isn't about becoming perfect or avoiding our weaknesses. Instead, it's about learning to face our fears, acknowledge our emotions, and embrace who we truly are. Mob's journey is a powerful metaphor for self-acceptance, reminding us that the path to maturity is filled with challenges, but also with opportunities for deeper self-discovery. What makes these animes so powerful is how they reflect our own experiences and fears about growing up. Whether it's learning to let go of the past, accepting the uncertainty of the future, or figuring out who we really are, these stories offer relatable and meaningful lessons that resonate with anyone navigating the complexities of life. Growing up can be intimidating, but it's also full of growth, connections, and moments of realization. So embrace the journey and remember that it's okay to stumble as you find your way. Every experience, good or bad, is a part of becoming who you're meant to be.